Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Virtuous Style. Today I have with me special guest, best friend, Yardley. We're just gonna have a conversation while we're styling this with these wonderful locks. So so what's going on today, Yard? How was your day, first of all? How was your week?
Don't want to speak about it. Today was an interesting day at work. But it's okay. You all made it here for another day, another dollar.
So I know that you wanted to talk about certain things, and we're just gonna shoot from the hip. So what are we gonna talk about?
So I want to
Or
start.
what did you want to talk about?
I want to start about with my relationship with my brother.
Okay.
So growing up, I guess I wouldn't say we were distant, but I wouldn't say we were extremely close. But fairly recent, since I guess I would say after he moved out, our bond has gotten a lot stronger. And within the past couple months, when hanging up, he always says, I love you, but I love you too. And there's no specification behind it where it says, oh, I love you, bro, or I love you, homie, or anything. It's just genuine love. So I feel like when it comes to men expressing love for another man, even not to make it, I feel like we feel like it's homophobic. The word I love you. It's just not every time you say you love someone, it has to have intimacy behind it.
Right.
It might just be, hey, have genuine love for that person, that you care about them, you want them to be well, you want them to do well.
Right.
And I feel like throughout history and everything, every time someone says, oh, I love you, it's just like, hey, that word is diverted towards the opposite sex most of the time. Like, we don't say anything we don't stereotype it when a mom says, oh, I love you to my kid, or or dad says it to the kid. It's just when, as an adult to another adult, it's just classified like, hey, you're supposed to say, I love your wife. You're supposed to say, hey, I love my husband. You could never say, hey, I love another man just because you care about that person. There's no sexualizing the whole factor that you care for that person.
Mm-hmm. I do see that a lot. And some men they do hesitate to say it back, or they're like, really? Well, repeat, like, say that again. If you love me, what's going on? No homo.
Yeah, because I was having a conversation about it with my coworker, and I asked him the same question. I'm like, yo, how often, because his other friend works with me too. So I'm like, yo, how often do you say I love you to this person? Or vice versa. He's like, yeah, it comes up, like if we're hanging out, and he's like, yo, I really love you. And I was like, do you just say I love you, or do you say I love you, bro? He's like, yeah, there's always a bro or homie type thing. And I feel like once you do that, you're just trying to package it so you don't seem like you're gay. And I'm like, there's nothing gay about caring for one another. I feel like it leads to different parts of the topic. Today's topic is just the fact that people have issues with just caring about one another. Like when you say I love you, it doesn't necessarily have to have any intimacy behind it. Like I'm me in general. I'm very caring and very nurturing towards my friends and everything. Like I care a lot about them. And even some people that, like, if I casually talk to you on a regular basis, like we talk every day, there might be a time where I'm like, you know what? I'm in an emotional mood where I'll just shoot out, hey, I love you.
Wait, what's up with the air quotes? Emotional.
Because here's another thing too, in culture-wise, I wouldn't say history, but like in general, people quote unquote say men can't be emotional. So I'm like, so I recently posted on my social media where I'm falling in love with who I am. Mm-hmm. Throughout growing up, it was a difficult process for me. But being in the wheelchair and everything, it's just that I never genuinely liked who I was. Like, I always wanted to be this person, or I wanted to be that person. It took me years to realize, hey, it's me. It's something you just gotta accept. So it's just a factor of loving yourself. So it goes back to the fact that I recently said the fact that I'm an emotional person. Like I recently learned how to control my emotions, not to let my emotions be the win the
Taking
race.
the lead.
Yeah,
Okay.
winning the race in the situation, because when you run things with emotion, you typically ruin something that could be great due to the fact that you don't know if that's actually happening or not, whatever. Hypothetically, for quote unquote cheating type situation, like when you handle things based off of your emotion, you have bigger percentage chance of wrecking whatever you're being emotional about. So going on that is just the fact that the air quotes was because I'm an emotional person. I know how to handle my emotions. I can fairly say as a man, I can control my emotions. I know when to apply emotions and when not to apply emotions. Ooh, excuse me. And I feel like it's something that a lot of men can't sit here and express and say, hey, I'm an emotional person. And then even when we do say we're emotional people and we express ourselves as an emotional man, women tend to
Stray away.
no, not straight away. Attack us for it.
Oh.
Like one minute you want us to be emotional, and then next minute we show emotion. And now we're pussies. We have no balls. And
No, I feel like
excuse my language. I'm sorry.
some men are so hardcore. They don't really tap into their emotions. I feel like as we have testosterone, you guys have a little bit of estrogen too. But a lot of men, they tend to focus on more testosterone, especially when you're dealing with you are in a relationship with a female, and conversation, and to understand what the female is going through. I just feel, or I'm just saying, that maybe to tap into your emotional side or your estrogen side, to converse with the female, to understand where she's coming from.
So what's the benefit of getting into that energy for you guys? There's no benefit. It seems like every time a man taps into their estrogen side of them to try to relate or try to understand you better, you guys take advantage of it. Like, you know what? Maybe this guy's too emotional. Maybe this guy's this. Maybe this guy's that. Because if I related to a lot of situations that I've encountered, not recently, but like within history itself, is that women will give you an outline of what they want in a man, but then they won't deal with that specific man if they're too emotional. You want a man that's emotional, but now all of a sudden you have a man that shows emotion, you can't deal with it. It's overwhelming. They're too emotional for you. Or then you want a guy that's hardcore, that's straight from the streets, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, he's too tough, he's gonna hurt me, blah blah blah. It's like it's a hit or miss type situation. It's like it's never a winning situation for men in general. And I'm not being biased. We're gonna get on topic that men do treat women in certain ways that women don't want to be treated either. But right now we're focusing on how the men are being brutalized by women.
I feel like you hit a key point when you stated too emotional. That I understand if we are not attacking, but
what's too emotional though?
Crying all the time and just be like all in their emotions and.
What's crying all the time? I don't. You have to give me examples.
Okay. Well, I can't give you a personal example, but say for instance if. I think we were talking about this outside. Earlier when we were talking about how certain, this one scenario where the nurse.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
So, and then now if she had came home and all of a sudden attacked all the guys, right? And then he starts being all in his emotion and just not crying or be sad, be depressed, and I don't want to talk to her at all. Just forgetting the fact that, okay, maybe, think about it, maybe you were at fault. Please explain to our viewers exactly the video that you were watching.
So the video
that way
is,
they are well,
this will bring in another topic in regards to women and their masculinity and their femininity in the situation.
So before I even have you continue, guys, we're just like we said, shooting from the hip. So it's not like we're talking about one specific topic. We're just like everywhere in regards to men and women or men versus women. I don't really want to say that, but it's just like what's really going on out there, because there's a lot of podcasts where it's just men are tired of certain women and women are tired of certain men. So it's just, this is where we're going at.
So the video was, she's a nurse, and I guess she got her month her lady for the time, whatever. The lady.
Her menstrual cycle.
Yes.
We can say it.
So she got her menstrual cycle, and she was called them. She supposedly, quote unquote, on the video, she called them about 20 to 30 times. She never answered the phone. They only have one vehicle for the household. He had the vehicle at the time being, so she kept on calling him, never picked up. Finally, she got one of her friends to bring him to the house. She was going on a rant in the car saying if he has another woman there, over for him, blah blah blah. She finally got to the house, opens the door, and it's not even another woman. He's there with two other guys, and they're legit just smoking and playing NBA 2K. And that was it. She went on a whole rant about how he's a lowlife, he's not motivated to do anything, him and his friends are the same thing, birds of a feather flock together. These are quotes that this woman was saying. And in my head, I'm like, I don't think this was necessary to do in front of his boys. Like, you just demasculated this man in front of his boys. And on top of that, when his boys decided to leave, he said, you know what, this is too much for me right now, I'm gonna go with them. She confiscated the car keys from him and said, good luck walking there.
Wait, who did he confiscate the keys from?
The car is hers.
Oh, okay.
So she confiscated the keys. She said, good luck walking there.
I thought she was talking about
and then she said, and she said, I'm going to change the locks and all your stuff is going to be outside.
Really?
So this one, and that brings up another topic, is when I feel like women that have complete control with the finances are the most toxic women.
First of all, let's go back to this. How did you want this female to act?
My perspective was like, I would have been, if I don't know, I can't say from my perspective. I can't say, I'm not a woman. I can't sit here and say but mentally, the way she just attacked them, I feel like I could be in that position. I'm a gamer. I could sit at home and play Xbox all day and not leave the house. But for you to come home and then spaz out on me, because the fact he was in the wrong. I'll admit that he was in the wrong, because if he actually saw that she called him 20 times and he didn't answer the phone, that's a whole different thing. But I feel like the approach could have been like, yo, me and you need to talk later, because this wasn't it. Check your phone and then we'll have a conversation later tonight when nobody's around. That's the best approach. There's no reason for you to destroy this man in front of his friends.
Yeah.
And now most likely this man is gonna go sit here and go tell his boys are gonna sit there and go tell everybody what just happened at his house. And now everybody's gonna ridicule him as a straight whooping boy for this woman.
Like, oh, she's gonna suck her car keys back
and
everything.
So when it relates back to the fact that women that have a woman that's motivated and I wouldn't even say motivated. A woman that has
it all together.
Yeah, has it all together financially and everything, and is dating a man that's working on himself. It's probably the most toxic relationship ever. Because most women like that will sit here and be like, oh, I do this, I do that. Why can't you do this? And demasculate this guy just because of the fact that she's the breadwinner. And it's a scary topic too, because in reality, most women are like that now. Most women have that whole masculine factor of them, where their masculinity is just so crazy, overwhelming. It's just unbearable. It's just like, why? Why are you like that?
I could definitely speak on that. Me being in a marriage and everything. I would not have embarrassed my husband in front of his friends. Because I'm like, okay, if he doesn't answer his phone after calling him 20 times, I'm like, and I need something. Like, what was the scenario? She had her period and she needed pads.
Yeah.
She's a nurse, she can't leave her department. I get that. But I would call someone else, like, hey, can you bring me this? That. And then when I got home and seen that, oh, this is the reason. I would say it in my head. This is the reason why you didn't pick up the phone all day. And then just go in the room, let him finish doing what he was doing. Say hi to everybody. Hey, what's up? And I bet you he would see it in my face that I am so upset. So after they leave, then I would come and talk to him like, hey, what's up? Like, I called you, multiple times or whatever. But disrespecting him in front of his friends and his friends,
you see?
That was something else.
But even with that, like, I feel like taking that what you're saying as an example, I feel like it's a conversation. Like we're I don't think most people will handle that situation the way that they're saying. It's just like, you know how when growing up people will be like, oh, if so and so did this to me, I'm gonna punch them in the face. I feel like that's
right.
I feel like
I'm only talking because I have experienced that.
Okay.
You know, I'm not giving any.
Okay, so then that's fair.
I have experience. Like I have called Mardona a lot of times and he did not pick up the phone. Well, he wasn't video gaming. He was, really busy. But in all, I really needed that. It was an emergency, and he didn't pick up the phone, and that did get me upset. You didn't pick up the phone. You could have at least told me, "Hey, real quick, I'm busy doing something. I'll call you back in a little bit." I could have understood, but the fact that he didn't even say anything, or he was playing video, he probably didn't even notice the call. But I'm talking in regards to experience, and I refuse. I would never, even if I'm upset or we're upset and we're out in public, I would never let anyone see me or us having an issue.
You see, and that's crazy, and that wasn't even a topic, but I feel like a lot of relationships are like that, where people would just sit there and expose whatever's going on in the household on the street. And I'm like, that's unnecessary. Right. Like, there's no reason for you to belittle anybody on the street, even vice versa, for a man to sit there. There's another video I saw where this woman got caught cheating on her significant other in a mall parking lot. Yeah, she was doing her extra activities inside his car.
Extra activities.
Yeah, inside the car and everything. So now he called her. I don't know how he called her. I guess he did some weird spy stuff. The comments or something about him putting something in her car. Found out that she was in the mall. Went there, caught her red-handed. And then crazy part is she's the one who sat here and spazzed out. He just wanted to be like, you know what? I want all my stuff back that I gave you. I want the car keys and everything. That's it. I don't want anything to do with you. No beef, no quarrels. And that was it. She just spazzed out, called the cops, said, "Oh, he's stealing from me." Blah blah. I'm like, you just got caught cheating on this guy in the parking lot. First of all, you called the cops. Now you're having sex in the open. That's exposure. You're going to jail too. So why? It's just ridiculous for people to sit there. That's another thing. People don't take accountability for what they do.
Right, I was just about to say. I mean, you're at fault. I mean, there would be no arguing there. You're at fault. You did something wrong. But misery loves company. If I'm going down, you're going down too. If I'm upset, if you're upset about something, I'm going to get upset or create a scenario so I can get upset too. Or remember you did this too. Remember you did that. But you just literally cheated.
But why? Why make a scenario where you pin the other person as the bad guy when in reality it began with you being the bad guy?
Yeah, exactly. Bring everything that we mended back out from the closet. Mind you, you already forgave the person and then you moved on. But because you were caught doing something horrible, messed up, you want to bring back everything that was in the closet. Hey, I forgave you with this. Remember you did that.
If you forgave me, you should never bring it back up. Yeah. It should have been in the topic right there. You forgave me.
But in regards to what you were saying before about how, a lot of women, because they are in high roles or making more money than, the men, they feel as if what?
They feel like they
control the system.
Yeah, they feel like, so not to devalue how women operate or what they do. I feel like if you're like a owner of a company, or owner of a business, or high management CEO status, I feel like your behavior in your company, I understand where you have all the masculinity because you're competing with a whole bunch of other guys that probably feel like they could do your job better. But there's no reason for you to bring that masculine energy back home and try to demasculinize your significant other. There's no need for that.
Right.
But women tend to do it, and no disrespect, it comes mainly from the women that are in the medical field, or the nursing field. It's just...
Please, if you are viewing this, my ladies, if you're viewing this and you're a nurse, please comment below.
I'm not taking shots.
Is this true? Is it true?
Maybe my opinion is wrong. We're all entitled to our opinions, but I feel like, hey... I
would like to know if it's true, because you stated a a point where probably a lot of people would have not backlash, but have an opinion on that as well, because you stated that as a whole. So it's not just some nurses. I think the way you stated it, it made it seem like it was all nurses.
It is predominantly most women in the medical field in general.
Okay.
Because your salary is pretty high. Most of you guys are clearing maybe 100,000, maybe 100, 120 a year.
Mm-hmm.
So you're making well over any average guy that's just trying to figure themselves out. So I'm like, so when it comes down to it, I feel like they feel like they have a foothold on someone's neck to be like, you know what? I'm the breadwinner in this situation. I'm doing this for you. I'm doing that for you. You behave the way I want you to behave. You go where I want you to go. And I get it. I understand it, but it shouldn't be allowed. You shouldn't. It's just like, come on, chill out. It's not that deep. There's no reason for you to disrespect me. There's no reason for me to disrespect you. Like, you make more money than me. Valid. But you making more money doesn't mean disrespecting however you want to disrespect.
I know, that's where it becomes an issue, where there's like disrespect. I could understand if you come home, you know, everything's a mess. Mind you, you're working. I know it's like the feminine thing where you're home and you're taking care of the kids and you're cooking and you're cleaning. But when it's not that role for you, you're, like you stated, you're the breadwinner, and then he's not, and he's at home, and everything is just a mess.
But
and you've been playing video games all day.
I can't specifically say that if I'm home, because I'm a programmer. I do a lot of stuff at home. I do computers all the time, and I'm home. It doesn't necessarily mean, oh yeah, I have time to sit here and clean this, clean that, take care of this, take care of that. It's hard. It's not something that
right. So if we're both working and we're both doing, like you say, but you happen to be working at home.
Yeah.
If we're both working, that's understandable. You know, when we get home, whoever gets home or finishes earlier, you know, starts cooking, and then when you finish, you come and help cook. Or.
But that's the thing. I think the whole topic is the fact that I think we're shooting from the hip. Is like we're throwing ideas and thought processes for people to take into consideration, but I feel like that's what the world is lacking. Is just the fact that, oh, maybe these are things that we should try, but we don't. We just sit there and we argue with each other, and we make things worse and worse, and then we file for divorce, and that's it. And we sit here, and my boy asked me this. My coworker asked me this, maybe 2 or 3 days ago, and that's what stemmed me wanting to do this whole project. Is like, do I still believe in love? And I'm like, I don't think it exists in this generation. It's just not the same. Like, anybody that was born in I wouldn't say 80s, but like late 80s, early 90s, if you're single, you're probably gonna be single for that.
Oh my gosh, you know, I was listening to 106 Park, something like that. The radio station. The Breakfast Club. When Lala was on there, she stated that. She said that not everybody's getting married anymore.
Yeah.
No one is going into the relationship wanting marriage or wanting a lifelong thing. It's just
not better. Not even because so a friend of mine said she was giving me an idea, not an idea, but a thought process of how I analyze relationships before I get into them, and like I would love to be in a relationship with another programmer, and that's my mindset is because it's a building thing. Like if you're a better programmer than me, I learn off of you, or vice versa. And any programmer is typically making well over 100,000, between 150 to 100,000 a year. So I'm like, she was like, when you're a thinker that thinks off of the fact that it's a financial gain instead of a actual, oh yeah, you might actually like this person and love to be with this person. Like, no, as soon as I find out what you do, I automatically jump into like, oh, this is gonna be a power couple. This is gonna be a financial benefit for us both to be together. I never think of the concept like, oh, do you love this person? Do you actually see yourself being in a relationship with this person? And I'm like,
because I mean, well, love doesn't keep the marriage or keep the relationship going. It's other things too.
Yeah. So, and I'm like, and I was thinking about it, I'm like, I am like that. And when you look at it, it's like that's what relationships are nowadays in general. And I quote, take me for example, like I could say I talk to quite a few women. I throw myself out there and everything, but I never take it too seriously because nobody seriously wants a genuine relationship where they wanna have kids, have a household, have a family, and do X, Y, and Z, and be that couple. Everybody has a mindset where they benefit from this, could they do this, and that's what my thought process was. Like, hey, can I benefit from being in a relationship with this person? And me realizing that, I'm always thinking about how this could benefit the relationship. I'm like, you know what? It's better for me not to be in a relationship because I'm always thinking about benefits and being in a relationship. So I'm like, you know what? I'll choose the single route and just smash as many people as possible.
Oh my God.
And just move on like that. But as of right now, it's just, I feel like if you were born in between the 85 to like after 90s, you're gonna be single. You're gonna be.
And that's what a lot of people were hitting up the station in regards to that, because a lot of people was agreeing. They were agreeing. You know, not a lot of people are going to relationships to get married. They don't want to get married anymore. They don't want that lifelong contract. It's just a lot of things that happens after you get married. And I feel like, you know, in my experience, I feel like it wouldn't have been my fault if I did get married. Because parents coming from a Haitian background or a Caribbean background, they don't prepare you for that. They don't tell you what you would be experiencing or what you would be looking for. Like, for instance, you know, well, your husband is going to want a lot of sex from you. Are you ready? You know, he's gonna want to have sex with you every night. Are you capable of taking, doing that? Or he's gonna want to talk, or she's gonna want to talk all the time. Or are you a talker? Or are you a listener? You know, I feel like they don't prepare the husbands. They don't prepare the wives. The girls, and they don't prepare the guys.
Speaking from culture, like I look back to the situation with me and my brother. Like, growing up, my dad wasn't that loving character. Like, he would never sit there and be like, oh, I love you guys. It would be my mom. So now it's said when you read a lot of articles, it says, oh, if a mother typically raises the kid, they usually grow up in certain standards where they're either going to be gay, they're going to be traumatized, they're going to do this and that. The black sheep of society because their mom raised them. And I'm like, I feel like that's not the case. I feel like maybe in the situation, my situation is different. That the fact that my dad was present.
5 more minutes. Okay, go ahead.
My dad was present in the situation, so I guess there was also that I saw an example of how a man should be and how he should behave in certain situations. Mm-hmm. So my mom wasn't the dominant and the feminine situation. There was a dominant person in the picture.
Right.
But at the same time, my dad never really showed love and affection to us like that. So now, if you look at how my brother treats women and how I treat women, it's completely different. So my brother, I wouldn't say he's submissive. I would say he's a dominant factor where he'll make sure everything is paid for. Everything, even if he has to sit there and stress out. Like the other day I was on the phone with him and, sorry, I'm throwing you under the bus, Kevin. The day I was on the phone with him and he was like, 10 o'clock at night, he gets paid salary. He gets 10 o'clock at night, he's an accountant, he's making good money for himself. But 10 o'clock at night, he's still working. Come on. So he took that energy from what my dad set down, because my dad was the one who was always working all the time, never really home. So he took that energy that my dad passed down, and now he's always working. Like, the thing is that he put a twist on it. Like, this guy, he just had a kid, he just had a baby girl.
I know, I saw so
I know he's an ugly nigga. I don't know how he pulled it off. It's just my language. He's ugly, but he had an adorable baby. So, but he works all the time, always working, and like he shows affection to his wife, his baby. He's there for her. Now, when it comes to me and women, it's different. Like low key, I'm very. I wouldn't say. I would say I'm submissive to a certain extent. Where like if I'm a hard lover. Like in my love language is always to try to take care of the person that I'm dealing with. So quote unquote from what people tell me is like I'm Captain Saberhawk. So I'm always trying to save and help people that don't deserve the energy. And I feel like I get that from stemming from my mom. My mom never needed the help, but she was always doing the most for any situations, from the fact from bringing me to this hospital, that hospital, to for my wheelchair needs and all my disability stuff. She used to always do that. So now, growing up, I never want to see women go through that. I don't want you to struggle with your kids. I don't want you to do this. I don't want you. So I'm always trying to help out as much as possible from when it comes to from financial or anything. Even if you need someone to talk to or just to vent to, I'm just like, yo, I'm all ears. Like I could talk because I was talking to this. So someone called me fairly recently last Friday. Like we haven't talked for a while. We talked from. They called me at 8 o'clock in the morning. We talked to probably like maybe a good 3, maybe 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Just talking, just chatting it up, and I'm like, this is the energy that I'm comfortable with. I like just talking and just making sure you're okay with what's going on in your life in general. And that's where it comes back to the culture part. It's like when it's a mixed culture. Because my brother took the whole energy that my dad provided and he made it his own way.
Okay.
And now I took the energy that my mom supplied and twisted it and made it my own way. And now society says when a woman is predominantly the person that gives the energy off, you turn out to be a little bit, quote unquote, but
A little bit too feminine.
yeah, but I
Too
don't.
much estrogen.
And yeah, and it relates back to the fact that hey, maybe in the beginning of the situation, maybe I did have a lot of emotion based off of. Now I've gotten a lot better. A lot of you guys can say, hey, this thing is not that emotional. Because I remember one time.
You're not a little ghosty.
Yeah. One time, I think there was one time I forgot. I think Jen was going somewhere, and for some reason I felt left out, and I had an emotional moment where I just kind of.
He was crying, guys.
I legit cried about it. I was like, "Yo, why didn't you invite me?" Like, and she ended up saying, "Yo, it was an all girls thing. Like, why did you want to come?" And I'm like, and that was the beginning of the transition. And mind you, it was years ago. I'm telling you, it takes a process for people to realize, hey, something's wrong with you. You need to just work on yourself and better yourself. And mind you, that situation was years ago. And I'm telling you right now, I'm legit, genuinely starting to love who I am, who I'm turning into, and who I could possibly be in the future based off of interaction. But it's there because people, once you start to love yourself, everything starts to fit in and work out.
That's very true, and you accepted that, and you figured that out on your own, and it played itself out, or you let it just take its natural course. You figured, well, you talk to yourself, and you're like, well, this is not how I'm supposed to.
A lot of women complain like, nigga, you kind of too emotional. Like, I can't. It got to.
From all the complaints.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? If it's one person that says I'm emotional, then that's
if
just
it's
that
everybody saying
everybody say I'm a little emotional. I'm like, all right, things gotta change.
That up.
Yeah, things gotta change.
All right, guys, this is all for today. I hope you enjoyed our conversation. Chit chat with Virtuous Styles as I do the hair, and I hope you guys like this shooting from the hip. So I'm going to show you the hair. All right, put your head back. There you go. Hope you can see it. Yes, a nice retwist by Virtuous Style. Ooh.